Let us go back out to the Ramos Law Hotline. Car accident, you need Ramos Law, medical doctor and attorney, ramoslaw.com, as we are joined by Buffs legend, Chad Brown. Chad, how are you, buddy? Thanks for joining the show.
Good morning, fellas. I'm doing fantastic. And yes, it seems to be quite the hot topic we are about to discuss.
How do you still look so young? What are you doing?
It's
Because
all
you're an old
filters,
guy
man.
like me, man. What are you doing?
It's all filters. Don't believe what you see. No, seriously. I try to take care of myself. When you've put as many miles on your tires as I have,
Yeah.
the ability to maintain the old car. I think of myself as an old car.
Yeah.
Can't drive too fast. Can't do anything too crazy. Got to get it regular maintenance. That's how I keep this thing going.
Chadwick, one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on the show is I was saddened by the reaction that a lot of Buffs fans have had toward players of your ilk, players who have sweat. You put in the work, the blood to build that program, and you come out publicly and you say, hey, a little disappointed with the decision that was made. There's others that came before these guys that should have been honored and wait in line. That's all you said. You didn't diminish what Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders did. None of us have, because they're great players in their own right. You just said they sort of butted in line. And the reaction from CU fans is what has me in a tizzy. And my question is, are you as disappointed as I am with the people who follow the Buffs not understanding that there is history before Prime arrived?
It's obviously our society is in a bit of an odd place where the very vocal yet small minority seem to drive the conversation. And this is where we are with this. If you were to look at the social media metrics of the amount of retweets and likes and all that stuff that my comments got versus the negative comments, I'd say it's probably 20 or 30 to 1.
Yeah.
But that one is very loud and vocal, and they've got a really strong opinion. Either I'm old and I'm bitter, or I've never paid attention to the program since I left, so why are you paying attention now? Or what do you mean? What's a waiting period? What's that for? That's ridiculous. Give these guys their flowers. I'm not denying that they deserve some type of flowers. Hell, Travis won the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
His number certainly deserves to be retired. But to your point, Vic, there are all types of amazing players who have come before these guys. CU football was not invented just 3 years ago.
Nope.
We've got a tremendous history. We've got a national championship in our history. So to deny that and give these guys their flowers before other guys, and Eric Bieniemy, Darian Hagan, many other guys that would be impossible to list all of them out here, they also deserve their flowers. So I'm not sure if this is a Coach Prime thing, if this is a Rick George thing. It's certainly not a Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders thing.
Yeah.
They're the quote unquote innocents in this,
Yeah.
but the conversation seems to be, at least from the folks who are pushing back on my point, that somehow I either don't view them as great players, or I'm old and bitter and get off your lawn, old man, and shut up.
Yeah, that's what's sad about this. Guys like Travis Hunter's caught in the undercurrent. He's simply the greatest CU football player I've ever witnessed. I've never seen anything like him. So I understand. I'd like to know, have you talked to your fellow alum? Who makes the decision? Who was it that decided this Saturday, hey, man, it's a good time to do this? I mean, these guys are still in school for all I know. Why now?
I have yet to hear from anybody from the CU administration as to how this decision was made, who made it, why they made it, why it's right now. I've certainly heard all kinds of speculation. I don't want to dive into that, but I can say I've spoken to a number of my fellow alumni, and the feeling seems to be quite mutual that nothing to take away from what these guys have accomplished on the field. They are great Buffs based on what they've done on the field. Just the timing feels a bit off. It feels premature to celebrate this right now. And again, there are others who are very well deserving who should be in line before Shedeur or Travis get theirs.
The one thing I thought about, Chad, and I've been talking to a couple former Buffs the last couple days. If they just stopped at 12, do you think this is an issue? Because Travis Hunter did win a Heisman. He was one of the craziest dual threat players in college football history. If they stopped there, is this as big a topic? Is this mostly about Shedeur, I guess, is what I'm asking.
I think so. I think so. Obviously, you win a Heisman Trophy, you deserve it. But even the previous Heisman Trophy winner at CU, Rashawn Salam, had to wait a long
Yeah.
time before his number was retired. CU's only retired 4 numbers in the great, tremendous history of CU football, only 4. So suddenly 2 guys get in while, to Vic's point, they're still on campus. It just seems to
Ridiculous.
be so far removed from any previous procedure that it can't help but be questioned. And again, we're not questioning whether they are great football players. It's just there's a timing issue. And again, there's other previous players who have won those numbers that I can say, wow, well, if we're going to get this guy in, well, what about this guy? To go specifically to number 2, what about Deion Figures, my CU teammate, won a Thorpe Award, had the game-sealing interception in the Orange Bowl against Vic's Fighting Irish, was a huge part of our national championship, College Football Hall of Fame, CU Athletic Hall of Fame. How is he not deserving? And this other guy who is, again, yet to leave campus somehow gets to leapfrog in front of him.
Yeah, and you know what's so, I guess what's so tough for me to reconcile, Chad, is that, you know, we've been waiting for the program to kind of get back for some time, right? There's been a lot of different connotations and so on. And right now, there's a lot of attention. Things are pretty damn good. And then you have something like this that has to drive a wedge, you know, between new and old and whatever, or even people who are seemingly on the same page, but now they have a wedge driven between them and there's sniping and bickering. And it seems so unnecessary to me.
Yeah, and I've been accused of being on the unnecessary side of this, that I should just let this go. The Buffs are winning, therefore all is okay in Buff land. I'm stoked the Buffs are winning. Absolutely stoked. I'm stoked that the program is back.
Yeah.
But again, the past matters. Legacy matters. Whose shoulders do we stand upon? You guys, as awesome radio hosts here in the Denver market, we all stand upon Irv and Joe.
Exactly.
We stand upon their shoulders. And to somehow, for one of you to get an award and not acknowledge the greatness of Irv and Joe would be unfortunate. It would be an oversight on your part. So for us who are stoked the Buffs are winning and happy these guys have played the way they played and certainly deserve their flowers, it also does not recognize the greatness of the past. And for some of these more recent CU fans, I think a bit of an education would be worth it for them to understand CU football wasn't invented a couple of years ago. The last 10 years, the 2 of some success and the 8 before that where things weren't so good, CU football has a history before that. And there's a lot of greatness in there. And if we ignore the past, we're ignoring this legacy that we all stand upon.
Well, you're not alone in your disappointment, Chad Brown. I know plenty of CU alum, including Joel Klatt. I know a lot of guys that have gone public on this. JJ Flanagan, yourself.
I've had some guys behind the scenes reach out to me, Chad, and just text me, and I'm like, oh, wow.
So this isn't just a few people bitter about it. This is not a bitterness among a few. This is it seems like the bulk of the CU alum group that looks at this as a smack in the face. I'm most disappointed, Chad, and tell me if you follow me on this one. Where's the adult in the room? Rick George was on your coaching staff when you win a freaking national title. He runs the operation up there. Why isn't he facing Prime head on and saying, no, man, there's too many guys that we have to honor before these two? Where's that leadership? Why are they acquiescing to Prime right now on this question? I assume it's Prime's decision. I don't even know for sure.
That's an interesting one because while Rick George would certainly seem to be the highest decision maker in this whole process, and I certainly think of Rick as a personal friend, and to your point, I've known Rick since 1988, and there's a relationship that's separate from him being the athletic director and me being a former alum there. So I'm, like you, a bit disappointed that Rick would not see the blowback and how the feelings of folks of my era or any other great CU era would be a bit hurt and upset. So there's that. But I don't know who's making this decision there. But Rick has also done a tremendous job of expanding the CU Athletic Hall of Fame
100%.
and really taking that forward and having more guys go into that. Heck, Don Hasselback, who just died a couple of days ago, he was admitted into the CU Athletic Hall of Fame just in 2024. So there's always been an effort from Rick to acknowledge guys of the past. That's why this one seems to be so disconnected from what seemed to be a strong inside the university drive to give guys their recognition for the greatness they achieved on the field in the greatest era of CU football.
It was such a great era. Damn, it was so good.
It was the greatest
Yeah,
era.
yeah, by a mile. Chad, last thing for me, how are you received up there? How are those guys? Let's say from late '80s to today. How are they received by Coach Prime, the staff, and so on and so forth? And is there recognition of the greatness of this program gone past?
I'd say there's a bit of a disconnect. There is a bit of a disconnect, and we've seen this with other CU coaches before. I've always said a football facility should have images of greatness on the wall. So Dan Hawkins came in and pulled all the things off the wall because he wanted to establish a new era of CU football. Well, if you're not walking past images of greatness all the time, how are you inspiring to be great?
Yeah, where are you, Alfred Cordell, Canavis? I mean, let's just go through the whole list, right?
Yeah, so all that stuff was pulled down. And so I saw that as a bit of a mistake. And now there's certainly images, there's a giant, massive poster of me in the field house, which I certainly appreciate. And I was talking to Robert Livingston, the defensive coordinator. He was like, oh, I pass a giant image of you every day before I walk into my office. So, I know where that's at inside the Champion Center. So there's certainly images of greatness, but the personal connection from players of, again, the time frame that you listed to the current program doesn't seem to be something that's strongly pushed by the current staff. Football coaches do all kind of things for all kind of different reasons. I have yet to hear a reason, but certainly I think there is something currently that I could assist this program with.
Chad Brown, Buffs legend, and good to always hear from you, Chad. Glad you jumped on today and appreciate your time. Vic, you got something else?
Yeah, it wasn't a clip. It was never a clip.
It was absolutely a clip. And to the guy I gave some flowers to earlier, Dion Figure, his quote on 30 for 30, the gospel according to Mac, the ESPN awesome history of what we accomplished back then. It was a hell of a clip. Yes, it was a clip, Vic.
Chad, nobody cares about your opinion.
We do. We got you, CB. Thanks. And by the way, just text me your skincare products because I obviously need some of that, man. I need something. Yeah.
Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, guys.
See you, buddy.
Guys. Take it easy.
Chad Brown joined us on the Ramos Law Hotline.